He was a defender. He always took care of me and made sure that I didn't get in too much trouble. But he was always the first one to pick on me too.
When I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and went to elementary school and junior high school and high school. Most of my high school was in Cleveland, and I lived in a wonderful community.
We lived in Shaker Heights. We lived across the street from a school, and we had a built-in playground where we could play, and it was safe until it got dark, and it got dark in the summers at 9 p.m., and we could just run free, and no one worried. And that's what Mark tried to do in Las Vegas.
We moved in 1973, drove across country, did the reverse trip, settled in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas was showgirls and gambling, and there was no community. There was no reason to have a family here.
Being able to be at the beginning of the development of Green Valley and help direct what we were doing, we were able to work with the school district to build schools, to build parks, and try and bridge the gap between the boomtown Las Vegas and the more sophisticated Las Vegas.
These were places that people were living and families were being raised. I think he always had an appreciation for that and wanted to, leave behind places that he could be very proud of.
I spent 17 years building up that community and creating a variety of housing for everybody, open space, lifestyle experiences, places to people raise families. It's proven the test of time.
My father developed land that he would want his family to grow up on.
The Howard Hughes Corporation wanted Summerlin to look like Green Valley, which was a high compliment. And they offered me a job as the first president of the Summerlin division of the Howard Hughes Corporation.
Carolyn had all the best of it as far as the Howard Hughes Company was concerned, and Mark was involved with them, and they gave her basically the acreage that the Meadows School presently sits upon, some 40 acres out there, with the understanding that it was going to be the first building basically in an area that didn't even have a road at the time. So Mark was involved with that. Mark was always very helpful and very supportive of Carolyn as far as the Meadows was concerned. And Mark basically really, with no joking aside, is a good friend of our families.
Now, Summerlin was the fastest selling planned community in the country, and Green Valley was the second fastest planned community.
He taught me that slow and steady wins the race.
And launching it and building a brand takes a long time when you're doing planned communities. And you got to be slow, and you got to be steady, and you got to be very careful how you manage it.
I get a kick out of him because he's mellow, and I don't ever see Mark getting flustered over anything, and I think that's one of the reasons for his great success as a business person. He's able to step back, he's able to look at the whole picture and then decide the best way to go, and I have the ultimate confidence in him and faith in him because I've given him my money to invest without a question asked.
It was very gratifying to be a part of two communities that were getting such national recognition.
He's done so much for education. He's done so much for elementary education. He's done so much for the high schools when he started a magazine, and he worked tirelessly there. He started the partnership program with businesses and high school students. I mean, and high schools. He was brilliant. He just seemed to never get tired. He was like the ever-ready battery.
My dad and Sheriff Gillespie were able to join forces and get a project put on the table and work together to make the dream of having a police department headquarter facility a reality.
He was able to negotiate a phenomenal deal, not only for himself, but for the Metropolitan Police Department, in order to build a wonderful administrative facility down there.
From one single commercial point of view, that was something I'm extremely proud of.
One of the things I admire most about my dad is that the balance that he has in his life.
Certain moments in your life that you have to make a decision of what your priorities are.
He has always been, a man of many hats, a business person, a developer, a community activist, and a family man. And he's always been very committed to being great at all of these.
You can't go back. You can't go work for 40 years and then decide you want to be part of their life.
My father's always been very supportive of everything that my brother, my sisters, and I have ever done. Whether it's a bar or a restaurant, anything that we've ever done, he's been very, very supportive of.
They were naming their last 3 schools that they were going to name after people, and they had like 60 or 70 people that applied, or you nominate. And his children nominated their father. And his children wrote to everyone in the community and asked them to write a supportive letter. And everyone wrote a letter about what Mark had done for this community, in this community, the friends that he had.
I think he's the kind of fellow that when he gives you his word, it's his bond. That's the old Las Vegas way of doing things, which is you can't get any better than that.
I had the benefit for the last 21 years of being married to a wonderful woman who has, encouraged me to continue the passions that I've had in the community and not try to change who I am. And she's supported me in many of those things and maybe enhanced my ability even into more things than I could do. So she and her family have been awesome.
Las Vegas wouldn't be what it is today if my father had not done what he had done.
I also, I think my first wife had a big impact on me in terms of my own community commitment, and her family certainly, who I'm joining in this Hall of Fame, which is really kind of neat, that they're the ones that gave me the opportunity to get started in this town and believed in me. And I think that because of that belief, I was able to rise to the level that of doing things that that could benefit the community.
The greatest accomplishment is probably his 9 grandchildren. Every project that my father's done is something that I can drive my nieces and nephews in front of and say, your grandfather, Papa did this for him.
Why not choose a man who has contributed to this community in every single way? He's contributed to this community by providing businesses, by providing jobs, by charitable organizations, by building schools, by building libraries, by building family and community.